Hello, greetings to all the awakened free spirits and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is called The Truth About Spirit Guides. Keep in mind, this is not the absolute truth. I speak only from my own personal experiences and understanding. That said, let's begin. We all have spirit guides that come and go throughout our life. They come when there's a part of your life that needs ascension, and once you get it, the guide that helped you continues their journey and another will come for the next chapter in your life. Remember, their purpose is to help you evolve your consciousness and spirituality, not for you to create a devotion to them. And this is the mistake a lot of people make. For example, and this counts for many religious practices, but look at Caribbean Spiritism. They form an altar with images of their spiritual court or guides. Typically, around here in this area in the Caribbean, we have indigenous, Congos, Malamas, Gypsies, and so on. They create a devotion, provide them with offerings, prayers, and their whole spirituality revolves around them. But this is wrong, because this is not their purpose, and you probably don't even have those spirits anymore if they ascended. Like me, for instance. In one of my astral journeys, I met an entire tribe of indigenous ancestors, and one of them accompanied me in some chapters of my life, but he is not currently on my main guides anymore, because he already achieved his part. So why would I have an altar of him? What's more, this same spirit was the one who taught me that my main altar should always be my body, because it is where my spirit resides. And the second should be my home, which is an extension of my energy field. If my energy is well aligned, it will be reflected on my home, and the same way reflected out in the world. He taught me that my spirituality is mine, and I will express it how I feel according to the things I've learned. I do not need to follow another man's path or expression. No religions or organizations that take away my spirituality. Spirituality is life and existence itself, nothing religious or mystical. Keep that in mind. True spiritual awakening is when you become aware of what you already are and not giving that power to an external entity. Also, ancestral knowledge is not cultural fanaticism. Back then, our ancestors understood what they did for their time in their level of consciousness, and us today with a new understanding we can give better and more complete explanations and point of views. We don't need to teach it exactly how it was before, because then we will never evolve. Our ancestors won't care what cultural practice or what spiritual expression you use for yourself. What matters is if the knowledge they provided is being used in a way for their descendants to evolve. An example of this, there's a plant called pica pica, which translates to itchy itchy. Just by the word, you're gonna know what it does. So if you're out in the woods and you see a pica pica, you're gonna remember, I'm not gonna touch this because it's itchy itchy. It itches strongly. And how do you know that? Because an ancestor way in the past touched it, it itched him, and he learned and gave his teachings, so no one else has to go through the same thing. But what if this ancestor that gave this knowledge, we don't know their name exactly, we don't know who specifically learned this, we don't know what cultural practice he had, what was his religion or his beliefs. All we know is he passed an important knowledge, and this counts with food, edible plants, medicinal plants. So don't deny your ancestors, no matter where they come from. I've known groups that say that they practice one specific cultural, religious, spiritual practice, and they deny every other ancestor that's not a part of that specific cultural era. He who denies his ancestors denies his mother. And at the end, we're all the same. We come from the same seed. We're all part of Earth. Doesn't matter what part of the world you landed on, we're all the same, and our ancestors are not only human. Our ancestors are the fire, air, earth, water, the trees, every organism, since we come from the same source, and we're not external from it. We're not descendants of just one cultural group. We're descendants of Earth, of the cosmos. And here on Earth, we are all the same, divided in a big world, each learning their lessons and interpreting their truth along the way with their own particular expression, but with the same essence as everything. So do you really honor your ancestors? Or do you just imitate them as a fanatic, staying stuck in an old level of consciousness that does not work anymore? This will be all for today's video. I hope this helps you on your journey. Remember, we are the universe, we are nature. Continue evolving.